There are just a few more topics I want to cover regarding the care of adult birds, and so this is going to be somewhat of a catch-all discussion. You've probably heard me discuss diatomaceous earth, also known as DE, elsewhere in this training. DE absorbs moisture at 1.5 to 4 times its weight. I add it to both my coop and run to reduce moisture, humidity, and odors. DE has a powdery consistency that creates a substantial amount of dust when applied. For this reason, some people are very concerned about their flock being at risk of respiratory infection. After all, they say, if it's recommended that you wear a mask when applying it, how can it be good for your chickens? That's a valid point. I believe DE is safe in limited quantities when mixed with bedding. I always use it in moderation and make sure my flock is not close by when I apply it. In addition to being a drying agent, DE is also widely used as a natural insecticide. When it makes contact with fleas, mites, and other parasites, it slices their exoskeleton and kills them. This is a good reason to add it to your chicken's dust bathing area. Okay, on to the next topic. I like to use herbs and other plants around my coop and run. And there are several benefits to doing this. First, plants and herbs are great dietary supplements. By the way, I talk extensively about this in the adult health part of this training. Here I want to focus on how using herbs can repel insects and rodents, have a calming effect on your chickens, and help reduce odor. The ones I am going to mention here are perennials. They come back year after year, making them fairly easy to use and maintain. Let's start with repellent properties. People have been using herbs as natural repellents for centuries. These include mint, lemon balm, lavender, rosemary, and thyme. In fact, any aromatic herb will likely have at least some repellent properties. To discourage insects and other pests, consider planting herbs around your coop and run. You can also hang bundles of them inside both the coop and run. Now, some people will say that herbs don't have enough pungency to be an effective repellent. However, my experience has been that herbs do work as a repellent, particularly mint. I have seen far fewer flies since I planted it outside the run. I also love the aroma. I keep my coop and run clean, so I rarely have a problem with odor. But during the really hot months, I still get a little smell, and the herbs that I plant help mitigate that. Many herbs also have a calming effect on chickens. Lavender is a prime example. It's of course a popular one for people, but it works for animals too. Remember that it's important that your nesting area be a sanctuary for your hens. Adding dried lavender to the nesting boxes can be a big help to that end. A few final things to note about using herbs. Some of them spread quickly, mint and thyme being two prime examples. You may want to plant them in containers to maintain better control. If you're going to add herbs to the nesting boxes or bedding, I recommend that they be dried first. I would be concerned that fresh herbs might mold. I do, however, think that it's fine to hang bundles of fresh herbs in your coop and run where your girls don't have access to them. Of course, you'll want to change them frequently. And by the way, it's okay for your chickens to eat fresh herbs in small amounts, but they probably won't if they have plenty of grass and clover to snack on. I encourage you to make plants and herbs part of your general coop and run maintenance. This will provide a healthier and more pleasant environment for your flock. Finally, I want to address the idea of artificial lighting in your coop. Many chicken owners do this during winter months to increase the amount of light exposure their flock gets, which in turn increases egg production. Egg production declines when daylight falls below 14 hours. Where I live, our shortest days of the year are about 9 hours. I could make up the difference by turning on lights for 5 hours while my flock is in the coop. This would ensure that they get the amount of light needed for maximum egg production. Personally, I don't like to use artificial light. I'm just not sure about the ethics of it. I prefer to let nature be nature. If that means fewer eggs, so be it. If you choose to use lights in the coop, wait until your girls are 20 weeks of age. Set a timer so the light comes on early in the morning. And you don't need much. A 25 to 40 watt bulb should be plenty. Be aware that a chicken's vision is highly sensitive to even the slightest of movements. They will detect the flickering of a fluorescent light that may be imperceptible to you and me, and this could lead to anxiety. So I recommend you not use fluorescent lights. I don't use artificial lighting, but many backyard chicken owners do. Consider the arguments for and against it, and make the decision that you believe is right for you and your flock.